So today, we're going to talk about a story that on the surface looks like your standard tech acquisition, but it is so much more than that. It's about a company you definitely know, a corporate playbook you probably don't, and the invisible foundations of the internet that are, well, they're starting to crack.
All right, let me just ask you this. What would happen if the core technical team, the actual people who build and maintain a platform's engine, were all just gone in a single day? Well, that's not a hypothetical. That is exactly what went down at Vimeo. And that brings us right to the main event here, what we're calling the Vimeo Takedown. It's a story that unfolded in just 132 days. And trust me, the consequences reached way, way beyond the company itself. That's right. On January 20th, 2026, the company laid off most of its staff. And we're not talking about just trimming the fat here. Sources confirmed the entire core video engineering team was let go. The experts, the specialists in encoding, streaming, platform architecture, the very people who made Vimeo were just gone. But you want to know the really wild part? It's the timing. This whole collapse happened just 132 days after the new owners went public promising these huge, ambitious investments. From a big promise to a total purge in less than 5 months. It's unbelievable.
So here's why this matters to you. The fallout from this whole thing, it goes so far beyond just Vimeo's website. It actually strikes a blow to a critical, hidden tool that a huge chunk of the modern internet, and yeah, probably the video you're watching right now, completely depends on. So to really get how this all happened, we've got to look at the company that bought Vimeo. They're a Milan-based firm called Bending Spoons. And what they did, well, it wasn't random. It was the execution of a very specific, and you could say very ruthless, business model. This was the promise. This is what they said. When the deal was announced, the Bending Spoons CEO, Luca Ferrari, talked all about making ambitious investments in every part of Vimeo's business. That was the public message, right, to shareholders, to users, and to the employees. But let's look at what actually happened. The promise was made in September. By November, right after the deal closed, 10% of the staff gone. And then just 2 months later, in January, the rest of them, the vast majority, were eliminated. It's just staggering. And this, right here, this is their playbook. It's a formula, really, a 4-step process. Step 1, buy up struggling tech companies that still have a good name. Step 2, get rid of the expensive US-based workforce. Step 3, move whatever's left to cheaper markets in Europe. And Step 4, automate everything you possibly can.
And look, this isn't just a guess. The pattern is crystal clear when you look at what they've done before. They did it to Evernote, poof, the entire US team laid off. They did it to the video app Vimeo Pro, original team, gone. And WeTransfer, 75% of the staff eliminated. See, Vimeo wasn't an exception. It was just the next one in line.
Now, you might see that they paid a 91% premium for the stock and think, hey, that sounds pretty generous. But you have to know the context here. Vimeo's stock had totally tanked. It was basically a penny stock. So this wasn't some generous offer. It was a savvy, opportunistic buy of a company when it was down.
Okay, so a company got bought out and dismantled for cash. Happens all the time in business, right? But here, this is where the story gets so much bigger. Because when Vimeo's video team was fired, something else broke. Something that doesn't belong to any one company.
Let's talk about a project called FFmpeg. The best way to think about it is like the universal translator for almost all digital video on the planet. It's this free, open-source project that pretty much every app uses to handle video and audio. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it's a foundational piece of the internet as we know it. And who uses it? Pretty much everybody. YouTube, Netflix, Google Chrome, VLC Media Player, you name it. Seriously, if you are watching, editing, or streaming a video online, you are almost certainly using FFmpeg technology, whether you realize it or not.
And here's the direct link. This is the smoking gun. 2 days after those mass layoffs, the FFmpeg project itself put this statement online. They confirmed that a lot of the Vimeo staff who got fired were active, important contributors. These weren't just employees doing a job. They were caretakers for a vital, shared resource for all of us.
So this has created a massive two-front crisis for a project like FFmpeg. It's like they're being attacked from both sides. On one hand, they're losing the human experts they depend on, these engineers who contribute as part of their day jobs. And on the other hand, the volunteers who are left are getting absolutely flooded with useless AI-generated bug reports that just waste their time. It's a perfect storm.
So what happens now? Where does this leave Vimeo, the engineers who built it, and the critical open source community they were helping to support? Well, in a move that is just dripping with irony, at the exact same time Vimeo was showing its human video experts the door, its website started talking about being an AI-powered video platform. So they're pivoting to AI at the precise moment they gut the human intelligence that actually made their platform work in the first place. You know, this quote from a user really it says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that feeling that a beloved creative platform was basically hollowed out and is now just a skin suit worn by a financial firm that doesn't really get, or maybe just doesn't care about, the technology or the community it bought.
And here's the thing that's really important to get. Those incredibly talented engineers, they'll be fine. They'll find new jobs. But the open source projects they supported, like FFmpeg, they've lost so much more than just a few people. They've lost the institutional backing, the big company resources, and the real-world problem-solving that a place like Vimeo provided.
Which really leaves us with this one big question to think about. This Bending Spoons playbook, it's clearly profitable for them. But as we see these kinds of ruthless efficiency models applied more and more to the tech world, we really have to ask, in the hunt for profit, what is the real cost of breaking the shared, often invisible tools that our entire digital world is built on?